Welcome back. Apparently, I'm doing something right because people are watching it. Let's start off where we picked off A. For viewers who didn't watch the last video on this stupid little channel, this is a read of Transported, a Wings of Fire story. It's a fan fiction. This one, we'll go over Chapter 3, Skywing 101. Daniel looked at the map closely. There was a drawn-on house symbol, which Daniel assumed was the location of the place where Baron lived, and where Daniel's location was. It appeared to be located in the southwestern Sand Kingdom, maybe a half-hour walk to the beach from it. There was also other landmarks marked on the map, such as Thorn Stronghold, the Town of Possibility, and Jade Mountain Academy. I wonder how long it would take to get there, Daniel thought curiously. Based on the information in the books, must be a while, even by flight, let alone foot. Speaking of flying, maybe I should ask if Baron would be able to teach me how. I mean, I wouldn't make it as far as the dragon who can't fly anyway. Hey, Baron, Daniel called. Yeah? What do you need? Baron asked as he turned to look at him. Would it be possible for you to teach me how to fly? Daniel asked calmly. But inside, he felt the most awkward moment. The most awkward he had ever... Oh, yeah, that makes sense. The most awkward he had ever felt in his entire life. I mean, it's fine if you don't want to. I understand. Yeah, sure, Baron interrupted. Daniel quickly turned around to look at him. Wait, really? His face lit up, as though he had just offered a trip to Disneyland. Although he did admit that he would take learning to fly over any amusement park any day. I mean, you would have to be out of your mind not to not. Yeah, I mean, I haven't ever taught someone to fly, but it shouldn't be too hard. Come on, let's go outside. Daniel followed him outside to the bright, warm, sunny desert. It was a much better day than the one before. Clouds provided a light, shady cover to the sun's heat beating down on them. The desert air was dry and cold, but Daniel liked the feeling. It reminded him of what it felt like after coming out of the ocean onto the beach, meeting the cool breeze coming through as the warm sun fell upon his scales. All right, Hurricane, welcome to Flying 101. The goal of today is to have you up in the air, flying to your heart's content by sundown. Baron spoke with authority. Sweet, sounds good to me, Baron continued. Right. First things first, let's practice taking off and landing. I want you to try to lift yourself off the ground with your wings before landing back on your feet. Daniel nodded and prepared himself, for he didn't know what would happen next. Flapping his wings, he lifted off the ground, only to immediately fall back on all fours again. Luckily, he stuck the landing, so he didn't look like a lost cause to begin with. Well, that worked perfectly, he grumbled to himself. All right, I want you to do the same things except instead of flapping your wings quickly, I want you to first jump as high as you can. The second, make 2 large flaps with your wings to boost yourself higher. Now try again. Daniel did as Baron said, and it worked a lot better than the first time, with Daniel being able to get more than 10 feet off the ground. Whoa! Daniel yelled as the land below him started to shrink. It felt like being shot up in the air by some other force. He started to fall again, however, as it wasn't enough to go into a full flight. Putting out his wings, he was just barely able to stop himself from making a dragon-sized crater in the sand. He stood there after landing for a few seconds before looking at Baron in front of him. Nice job! You learned to land, Baron smiled. That was actually kind of scary, to tell you the truth, Baron, Daniel said in a shaking voice. Maybe you could try something else. Nope, Baron replied cheerfully. You're making good progress. We aren't going to stop here. I want you to try that again, but tilt your limbs towards the breeze and tuck in your limbs. After the first flap of your wings. That'll make you more aerodynamic and allow you to catch the wind better. Daniel prepared himself, once again taking off into the air like Baron said, and tucking his legs in. It did help as he took off a lot higher than before. Wow! Oh wow, this is high! However, he immediately stopped plummeting to the ground after he lost his balance in the wind. Stop, 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 stop! Daniel yelled in his mind. Slow down! He heard Baron yell below him. Without another second to waste, he threw out his wings to the side to slow down like he did before, but it wasn't enough. "Oh no!" he yelled as he crashed into the sand below. "Oh, Moons, are you okay?" Baron asked. "That was a huge fall." "Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry." "Good. You want to take a break?" "No, I'm too close to giving up now." "Okay, if you say so," Baron said concerningly. "The tucking in is only for takeoff and diving. If you keep your legs tucked in when you move faster when flying, wait. If you keep your legs tucked in, yeah, that makes sense. If you keep your legs tucked in, you move faster when flying. However, it is a lot harder to keep your balance, and you can't land properly. So make sure to untuck them afterwards. Also, make sure to spread your wings as soon as you reach high enough altitude to glide through the wind." "All right, I'll give them one more shot. Then we can take a break." "Sounds good. I'll prepare some drinks for afterwards. You got this." And with that, Baron entered the house, leaving Daniel alone outside. "All right, Daniel, you can do this." Putting all of Baron's words together, Daniel prepared himself to give it all. He had. He jumped and tucked in his legs, flapped once, and then untucked them. He was about 50 feet in the air now, keeping his balance as he soared through the wind, and had successfully taken off into a flight. Wings spread out. He caught the air below him and sliced through it like butter. "Whoa! Ho!" Daniel yelled. Surprisingly, he found it a lot easier to maneuver in the air than on the ground, managing to do all sorts of in-air tricks with ease. Probably a Skywing perk, he thought. Daniel did one last loop in the air before perfectly landing next to Baron's house. "Wow, that was amazing," Daniel said, feeling full of adrenaline. I should probably try and calm down a bit before heading into the house. So, Daniel started to breathe in and out slowly. He expected it to slow his heart rate down a bit, and it seemed to work. But what he didn't expect was the small gust of flames that left his mouth when he breathed out for the fourth time. Daniel blinked for a second, surprised before a familiar voice spoke from behind. "Wow, that was a sight to see, huh? You're a quick learner." Baron laughed before noticing Daniel's confused look. "Hey, why the surprised look? Or was that your first time breasting fire, too?" Baron joked. However, upon noticing Daniel's expression, he realized it was. "Wait, you've breathed fire before, right?" Daniel shook his head softly. Baron was speechless. "Come inside. We'll talk about it later." Daniel silently followed Baron inside and took a seat on the bed he woke up in. To begin with, they both stared intently at each other for a brief moment. Baron with a skeptical look on his face, while Daniel had a more worried look. Baron was the one to break the echoing silence. "You see, now I'm confused, Hurricane." He spoke with skepticism and a slight hint of distrust, which Daniel didn't pick up. It was already weird enough that you didn't know how to fly, but also not knowing how to breathe fire? Something's wrong here. So I want an explanation from you that clearly states why you don't know the most simple basics of being a Skywing. Daniel was trembling. He didn't know what to say, as the truth was so far-fetched that nobody in their right mind would believe him. The only option he had was to come up with a believable lie, as fast as Baron was impatiently waiting for an answer. "Well, you see," Daniel started. "Spit it out, damn it!" Baron roared. "I'm not a dragon, okay?" Baron fell silent. His face went from angry to puzzled to worried, and then back to puzzle again in a few seconds. "What?" "I'm what you guys call scavengers. I don't know how I ended up a dragon, but it's the truth. I woke up in the desert as a dragon, and then you saved my life. It also explains why I don't know how to breathe fire or fly until today," Daniel said half truthfully. He didn't know that he became a dragon by getting transported into the Wings of Fire series, but he didn't think Baron would have responded well to that. Baron was speechless again. His brain wasn't able to process things Daniel told him. "I need to have time to process this." "Yeah, suit yourself." With that, Baron walked away into the opposite side of the house. I should probably leave before he comes back to ask more questions. He already knows too much, and if he finds out this world is just a book, he would probably have irreversible brain damage, even though it is kind of hard to believe that this world is fake now that I'm here. There's also that prophecy I heard in my dream, wherever it was, and there's only one place where I can get proper help with this stuff. Well, I'm guess I'm off to school again. Jade Mountain, here I come. And that is the end of chapter 3. Except for the small author's note at the very bottom. Hello everyone. Sorry for this late update. I ended up writing a bit more than I intended, and I had a 9-hour road trip, which I couldn't write anything. But on the right side, you had a long chapter to enjoy. I hope you have a good day. Feel free to comment, and I'll see you guys tomorrow or the day after. Peace. And that is truly the end of chapter 3. So, the protagonist, Daniel, learned to fly, and I think he learned how to breathe fire. See you next time, I guess.